Bro, what's up, man? How you doing? Dude, yesterday, I downloaded IG. First time in about a month. Every month I like to download IG, see what's going on, catch up on some messages. And holy smokes, every time I get back on, it's just getting worse. No joke. Yesterday I went on the reels or whatever, the story. It was like freaking lively. I saw 10 people die yesterday. I saw 10 freaking people die. I saw a plane with the son and father do a barrel roll and then crash and burn into the ground while the wife and kids are like, oh, Dad. I saw a man get eaten alive by a shark. I saw a freaking guy in a Mercedes-Benz going 160 miles down the highway, just smash into a freaking truck. I'm like this. I couldn't look away. Dude, I'm sitting alone in my house. My eyes are like this. Bling. I'm locked in. I'm watching this shit. I'm like, I gotta get out. I gotta get out. I couldn't get out quick enough. I was stuck looking. You know how they had those old cartoons where it was like torturing someone where they take the eyelids like this and they staple them like this and they put them in a room making them watch all this horrific stuff? Dude, that's all. I mean, they don't even gotta do that to us. We torture ourselves. I think I have trauma. I saw a lot of shit yesterday. So when I finally pulled myself out of this hellhole, and along the way there was a few booties mixed in, a few girls just twerking that thing, twerking their booty, man. I was like, what the fuck is this, dude? Now before you say, hey, that's just your algorithm, bro. You've been looking at too many butt cheeks and watching people die. No, dude, no. Maybe a few butt cheeks here and there, but no, like it's not that. I had to get rid of it because this shit pulls you in. But the death stuff, I mean, come on, man. Come on, dude. All right, so listen, uninstalled. If you guys need to reach me, don't do it through Instagram. But I'm telling you, this shit is like willingly induced. Something's going on, some trauma to the brain. You can't get away with watching all this craziness without feeling a bit numbed up or without feeling like shit is hitting the fan outside of your own little bubble. And I'm telling you, some people, man, BetterHelp, all those BetterHelp ads that came out? People, no wonder people are like, hey man, you need to talk about, you feel like deep down inside, you're a transsexual. Deep down inside, you feel like a woman. Here, come talk with us. You deep down, you feel like you have some daddy issues. There's someone on the other end to talk to you. Imagine being, it's bullshit because the people on the other end are sitting also isolated, sitting in their house. Your BetterHelp therapist just spent an hour surfing TikTok and surfing these Instagram reels, watching a bunch of retarded stuff. So, man, and then you're gonna talk to her about that you feel like a woman inside, and she says yes, maybe you are. Maybe deep down inside of you is a woman that wants to come out, and you need to let that woman blossom because that feminine side of you has been suppressed and has not had room to grow. And you start to believe this shit, man. No, I'm telling you, this shit. Not just that, but the media, the whole outlet, this subjecting yourself in isolation to crazy nonsense in the world is confusing. It's not healthy. I made a video recently, it was about 2 months ago, when I was out in the beautiful yard, it was springtime, and I named it Going Retarded from Not Socializing, something like that. That video has like got 170K views right now. And the comments, bro, I never realized there was this many people. There was this many people suffering from this isolation. I knew it was pretty bad, but just to see it, just all these dudes, even women came out. And I only get like 1%, less than 1% of women on this channel. The women came out, they're like, I also am suffering from isolation. Now listen, I have inserted myself into various third spaces, as I call it, as the term goes, to kind of prevent myself and safeguard myself from going freaking nuts. I train jiu-jitsu. I play disc golf with some friends. I have the High Thumos Brotherhood where I join the voice chats and we talk, and I've developed friendships with these people. When I moved to the suburbs, I realized very quickly, wow, this is different. This is a lot different than living in a city. You have to make an effort to talk to the neighbors, to reach out. To get to anywhere, you got to get in your car. This is suburbia life for a lot of us. You got to get in a car. You got to drive 30 minutes just to get anywhere. That's America. It's vast. It's big. So all you European, UK guys talking to, especially in the UK, I get on the UK guys in our group for not having more meetups because you're so freaking close. Your whole country is like the half the size of Texas. What are you doing? Get on a train and go see your friend. It's not difficult. For us in the US, when we have our big meetups, we all got to find an Airbnb. We got to get the logistics right. We got to plan. We got to get airplanes, tickets and everything. It's like, holy smokes, man. And America's a big place. So it's spread out. So maybe that is something, because in Europe, you got places where you can just walk to a cafe and then a bakery and then there's a nightclub and then there's a speakeasy or whatever. It's like you can bounce around. Boop, 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 boop. Get a bunch of social interactions. It's different here. So I think a lot of people are suffering, man. I really do think they're suffering. So, I just want to tell you, man, I think there's a huge opportunity, by the way. Any of your interests, anything you're interested in, maybe not video games, but I take that back, because video games too, we have esports. So you could create a third space for your hobby. Now, I think that's the future, man. I think a lot of guys and women got fooled on this idea that travel was going to be the best thing ever. And so they traveled to Bali to find themselves. They traveled to Japan. They traveled to Brazil, all over the world, just traveling, collecting all these photos and trying all this delicious food. They still don't know how to cook for themselves. They still got to come back home, and they find that they're not happy. They don't have their people. They don't have their home. Their ground base. Is there anything wrong with traveling? No, man, there's not. I probably do a little more traveling here in my life, but it's not something that I'm not fooled into thinking that I'm missing out on finding something. Unless I'm willing to uproot where I'm at and go there, it just doesn't make sense. I'm going to build my life here. I'm going to think about how I can be a force within the community I'm in. Now, what I'm saying is, it's going to happen where people are realizing, I got to put down the phone. I got to put down the phone. I got to scoop my nuts. I got to go make friends. I have to insert myself into different activities where I can meet people that are like-minded and like me. Because it's going to get even worse, dude. We saw at the CES Vegas, this what do you even call it, man? They were just showcasing a bunch of the newest AI technology, all the digital technology, all the new tech, and there was these robots, these Realbotics is the company, Realbotics. These robots that are kind of mimicking human behaviors. And they're at the very beginning stages, but dude, this girl Ari was like, hi, my name's Ari, and all the guys are like, man, when can I purchase one of these? Sorry, bucko, it doesn't have a vagina yet. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys out there that would be really willing to purchase a sex doll that can speak to them and make them feel like Megan Fox from that new stupid movie Severance or whatever it's called, where she, the guy gets the maid and he just can't stop fucking his robot. He just keeps relapsing with his robot. That's a real thing. That's going to be in the future, I think. Because we already have it with sex dolls. And once they get better, it's going to get even worse. My point being that people are realizing this shit is too much. We don't want to be absorbed. We don't want to spend our time viewing things that are novel and just have a shock factor that catch our interest for the moment and our attention. We want real meaningful relationships with other people. That's just a fact. So with that being the case, many people are going to see, if I have a hobby or an interest or a passion, I can share that with other people and I can create a community. That's what I did with the High Thumos group. I've known for 10 years that I wanted a group, and we have that online. My plan and goal is to develop that into a Thumos sort of jiu-jitsu gym that's the goal going forward. And that's why I'm training jiu-jitsu so much, and I just started teaching because I'm still trying to get there. I'm only a purple belt right now. But I see the need for community so bad within my life and in the lives of other people. So again, you have to consider this. If you have an entrepreneurial mind, not even that, if you're just someone that desires to have people come along with you, man, as long as you have an idea and you paint a picture for the future, you go there with that vision, people are going to follow you. It doesn't matter what it is. I said before, like Batman, when he puts out the signal, they put out the signal, Batman comes. You got to put out the signal for whatever it is that you like. It could be collecting cards. It could be being a sneakerhead. We see all these people doing all this stuff. They're the ones doing it, right? It seems like not most people are not doing shit. Okay, you're just seeing it. Stop being someone that sees it. You're on the bench. Get in the field, man. Get in the field. Promote. Go and find your crew. Put out the bat signal. The other bat boys will come. So I'm getting freaking pumped about this. This is something to get pumped about because this is what's going to change the world. For the longest time, men had third spaces. We did. We had third spaces. What do we have now? We don't have the traditional third space. A lot of the bars now are not even comfy. A lot of the hole-in-the-wall bars, they're just modern, like breweries with metal everywhere. It's not comforting. Get rid of the pool tables. What third space do we have? The barber shop? Like, where are the boys sitting down just freaking playing dominoes? Having a barbecue, talking shit, hanging out. Unless you join a sports team, but a lot of us have willingly isolated ourselves and we're paying the price for it, man. We're paying the freaking price. So that's something to think about. There's a way to beat your isolation. If you're like me and you needed something other than just lifting weights, hanging out with your girlfriend and coming home and playing RuneScape or Minecraft and calling it a day, dude, join a martial art. It's like a video game. It's literally like a video game because every time you go in that dojo, you're with your clan, your group, you're learning and you're taking something away immediately that gives you XP, that makes you level up. So that's what I found. Also, disc golf is freaking amazing. And if you want golf, that's fine too. But disc golf, man, is like the barrier to entry is super cheap. And I think it just like, there's this aspect of throwing a disc, ripping a disc, getting it onto that target that just it just hits something in you, man. Something primal inside of you that I think gets a bad rap because a lot of stoners are in this thing, but like it's an amazing game that you can find a lot of great places all over the place. So you just got to do something. You got to find your people, and that's what I'm doing. I've always been open. I want to stop judging. I want to stop looking at humanity as bad and flawed, and I don't want to have this negative glass that I'm looking at the world through because I think that keeps you in place, and I think they know that keeps you in place. I think whatever powers may be, whatever influence, they know that fear makes you maybe consume more and it keeps you from really doing anything. Get the people isolated and afraid. They're never gonna get their people together. They're never gonna stand up for anything. Just give more and more control away out of the people's hands, more to the government, more to the governing forces. The people will just be like scared with their tail between their legs. So that's really it, man. That is really it. We got to keep it high thumos. We got to keep it freaking high thumos, man. That's all it is. Keep your spirit up. Don't let it get down. I don't know about you, but I'll tell you, this is not to get political, but I have this feeling ever since Trump became president that it kind of feels good. Now, a lot of people get mad. Even if you say the word Trump, it's like an atheist hearing the word Jesus or God. The soy starts to bubble up it starts to bubble up and it triggers people that hate Trump. Now, all I'm saying is that having him in office almost feels like, wow, for the last 4 years, I lived in the city for a while, and you kind of felt like you had to walk on eggshells. Because in the city, you saw a lot of crazies. You did. You saw a lot of crazies. You saw the trans, you saw the dyed hair, you saw the flags, the BLM everywhere. There was not a sense of strength or vigor, no vitality. But when I got out of the city and, you start to get away from that. Trump's in office now, it kind of feels like, man, majority of people voted for him. Wow. So there's really not that much craziness. Oh, you don't really have to walk on eggshells. Wow, there's actually a guy that is doing stuff, irregardless of whether you believe in it or not. I'm not saying I back everything he does, but it's just like it's a feeling. It's like a feeling. So it's interesting. It's an interesting time we're in because you're kind of, not because of Trump, not because of anyone that's in the office, but it's a time for you to be who you are. You don't need permission to anyone else. You don't need to worry too much about offending. You don't need to worry about supporting a group or a crazy ideology. You can be yourself. You can do what you like. You can go out there and make shit happen. And this is an interesting thought I had in the shower, is that people, okay, this might sound crazy, but I'm just going to run with it. This is a theory I had. People that are very liberal, very, maybe like that hate Trump, I swear, there's just got to be a correlation or something. They cannot swim. They cannot swim well. I'm going to just lay that out. Do I fully believe this? No. This is a hypothesis. This is a theory, a developing theory. I think that, okay, first off, how can you do anything in this life? How can you stand up and go out there and make something of yourself, dream big, if you are scared of like 71% of Earth? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, dude. If you're scared of the water, oh my God, it just makes sense. It makes sense. And of course, there's some great swimmers out there that, I know this, that I'm saying it's a belief. It's a, get rid of the politics. Let's just say sissies, okay? In spirit, because I think what you end up believing represents the spirit a little bit. In spirit, you're probably weak if you don't know how to swim, okay? Because, and this is a real thing. I forgot, I looked this up. Google said something about gave me this stat. It said 80% of people claim that they can swim. But really only 56% of people know how to swim and save themselves if they were in a big body of water. Not miles. I'm saying just swim safe. You gotta know how to tread water. You gotta have the fitness to be able to swim 100 yards. You gotta be able to float. You gotta be able to turn yourself over in the water. To if you're like this, you gotta be able to turn yourself over, belly up. You gotta be able to hold your breath. That's what I'm saying. Swimming. Maybe people know how to tread water and they just sink like a rock. So to swim, and when you get in it's bigger than that, because when you get in a pool, a deep pool, man, it's not just a deep pool. When I was young, I don't care. It was when it hit 10 feet, and I lived in Florida, I always thought that there was an alligator at the end of the deep pool. Deep down, your imagination starts coming up. So as you're young, my mom and dad used to freaking throw me in the pool, swim back, son. I'm like, oh God. They put me in swimming lessons too, but man, it's scary. It's scary when you gotta conquer water. Wow. As a human, the water is a terrifying place. And listen, I'm still terrified of deep water because there's shit lurking down there. I'm convinced Cthulhu is down there, man. I went in a lake in Texas. It was 40 feet deep. Bro, oh my God. My imagination played tricks on me. I really thought that something was just gonna come up and swallow me, and I was gonna be like Jonah for like any minute now. It was crazy. I was in that deep water, and I'm just like, oh God, please. It was interesting though, because after a couple of, I would say after like 10 minutes, the paranoia left my body, and I just started to. It's like I was so afraid that I started to cancel it out. Really, it was a crazy feeling because I still hate water that I cannot see the bottom of. Even deep pools give me this, what is that, liminal feeling? You know, kind of liminal, but not a liminal feeling where there's a big empty space that humans should occupy. It's more of like the depths. Like what? Why? Maybe it is liminal. You know, all this space down there. I shouldn't be here. You know? Oh man. So the imagination of swimming is also conquering the fear of the unknown and being like getting a rein on your imagination. So there it is, man. That's my theory. If you cannot swim, you might be of a sissy nature. Your spirit may be bitched up by the world, by the void. Your imagination may not have been conquered yet. So, you know, that's just maybe it's a correlation. Maybe just a correlation, because as a human, you kind of have to master the water, because there's a lot of it on Earth, a hell of a lot of it. So just a theory, just a theory. But you gotta conquer it. You gotta conquer your imagination. I don't care. You gotta be okay being in solitude, but you cannot isolate yourself for too long. You know, do not build a fortress around your lifestyle. That is the worst thing that you can do. And many of us say this, and yet we do it though. We do it willingly, unknowingly, willingly. We put the game system up. We got the best entertainment. We got our man cave. We go in there. We got all our, little Funko Pops up or whatever. Whatever, man. I'm just saying we build a freaking cave. And we stay in that cave. You got to come out. You got to find your people. Find your tribe. Because right now, we don't have it. And we're letting it slip. And we're wondering, why are we unhappy? Why are we miserable? Be open to the possibility that a stranger could be a potential friend. Be open to the possibility that maybe I do need to get out and try something new. Be open to the possibility as well that you're not fucking old at 30, okay? Or 40. Or even if you're 50, go play freaking disc golf or go do something. You know, whatever you're afraid of, man. If you hate guns and you live in America, if you hate guns, go to a shooting range and ask the instructor to freaking teach you how to handle this 9mm Glock. Rent a gun, buy 100 rounds of ammo, and you'll be shaking in your boots. And you'll break out in hives. You'll be so scared if you've never done this. You have to do this, because just like the water, that's what the gun is. The gun is the crocodile, like I experienced in the water. The gun becomes this imaginary John Wick handheld, just destruction device that wreaks havoc on everyone. But then when you shoot it and you have an understanding and you look down, you rack the slide and you see if it's empty, and you hit the button and the magazine comes out and the slide goes back, and then you load it and you just poof, poof, and you realize the gun doesn't just poof, it just doesn't like blow up and start shooting people. You realize your imagination is like, your imagination deceived you for so long. It's amazing. It's really an amazing thing. All of the imagination has been cooked up by the media and fed by the movies that you've seen and the murders on, and then you realize, wow, this is just a tool. It's not going to go off. It's not just going to start blasting. So I went and it just started blasting. No, it doesn't do that. It's like, how much of our life has been in that cave, deceived. We're afraid of everything. You have to conquer. It's all spirit. That's what it all comes down to. That's why I don't even try to argue online. You can sense the spirit in a person. And the spirit, it's either of fear or it's of power and a sound mind. And love. Can't forget love, because when your spirit is not sissified, when it's not docile, what does it naturally do? I truly believe that inside of man, the spirit has like a benevolent sort of characteristic to it. It wants to welcome. It wants to grow. It doesn't want to just like, ah, ah, boo, boo. It wants to like fight for and be righteous. It wants to do what's right. It cares about other people deep down. But again, that's just something that gets corrupted over time. It gets corrupted, dude. It really does. So you gotta unlock that part. You gotta take care of the spirit. You gotta renew your mind. You can't get deceived. You gotta conquer the imagination. You have to peel back the onion. Not with drugs, not with, getting high as a kite. You just gotta live, man. You gotta live. You gotta find your path. Because, hey, there is one for you. I truly believe that God put out a path for your life. You gotta walk that path. You gotta see where it takes you. But it's a narrow path, It's a narrow path, and you will be tempted to go off. You will be tempted to, and we see it in stories of the past. Lord of the Rings, Schmeagol, juicy fishes, just getting freaking deceived by the ring. Oh, he gets obsessed, and he becomes this goblin. Just his eyes freaking so big from viewing all the filth and the corruption. He's stuck in that cave, man. Frodo, come back, man. Come back. Come back, okay? You had to leave home. You gotta keep walking the path, man. So, hey, there it is. Just a little motivation, little pump, little thumos. Come talk with us in the group. Love you guys. I will see you soon. Peace.